1 in 4 people will experience a mental health issue at some point in their lives. Think about that. In a room of 30 people, at least 7 have, or will navigate a personal battle that is largely invisible. Yet, so many suffer in silence, weighed down by a fear older than modern medicine itself. This video is about changing how we see mental health forever. It's about tearing down the walls of misunderstanding and replacing them with bridges of empathy. By the end of this, you won't just understand the staggering truth about mental health. You will know exactly how you can be a powerful force for breaking the stigma. Let's start with the facts, because numbers don't lie. The World Health Organization reports that depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. Globally, hundreds of millions of people live with anxiety disorders. In any given year, millions will experience the intense highs and lows of bipolar disorder, and millions more will navigate post-traumatic stress. These conditions are not rare. They are a common part of the human experience. We can draw maps, create charts, and show you timelines of these statistics climbing. But it's crucial to remember that behind every single data point is a human being. These aren't just numbers. These are our friends, our coworkers, our partners, and our family members. They are us. The scale is immense, but the experience is deeply personal. Acknowledging the sheer prevalence of mental health conditions is the first step toward dismantling the isolation that so many feel. So why the silence? It comes down to one crushing weight: stigma. Stigma is a mark of disgrace that sets a person apart. When it's applied to mental health, it sounds like "just get over it" or "it's all in your head." It looks like discrimination in housing or employment. It feels like shame. This shame manifests as a suffocating silence, a fear of being judged, misunderstood, or treated differently. I didn't tell anyone I had depression for 3 years. I thought they'd think I was weak or incapable or just looking for attention. I was terrified of the label. This fear creates a devastating ripple effect. When people are afraid to speak up, they are less likely to seek help. When they don't seek help, their symptoms can worsen. Worsening symptoms lead to greater isolation, which in turn deepens the mental health challenge. It's a vicious cycle, fueled entirely by outdated and harmful perceptions. Breaking the stigma isn't just about being nice. It's about breaking a cycle that can have life or death consequences. This fear and misinformation didn't appear out of thin air. It has deep roots in our history. For centuries, what we now understand as complex neurobiological conditions were explained away by superstition. People experiencing mental distress were believed to be possessed by demons or punished by gods. As societies progressed, this fear evolved but didn't disappear. The asylum era, beginning in the 18th and 19th centuries, saw individuals with mental health conditions locked away from society, often in horrific conditions. They were treated not as patients needing care, but as outcasts to be confined. While modern psychiatry has brought a scientific, evidence-based understanding of the brain, these historical shadows linger. The images of chained patients and grim institutions are burned into our collective consciousness, shaping a deep-seated fear that still fuels stigma today. Understanding this history is key to recognizing why these negative attitudes are so hard to shake. In the modern age, no force shapes public perception more powerfully than the media. The media holds up a mirror to our society, but it also has the power to distort the reflection. For decades, movies and television have often portrayed characters with mental illness as violent villains or unpredictable threats. Think of countless horror movie antagonists whose defining trait is their insanity. This narrative creates a direct, albeit false, link between mental illness and danger, reinforcing the fear we inherited from history. But the mirror is starting to show a different picture. Films like A Beautiful Mind or Silver Linings Playbook have humanized the experience, showing the struggles, but also the brilliance, love, and resilience of their characters. We're seeing more documentaries, powerful awareness campaigns, and brave celebrities and public figures openly discussing their own mental health journeys. This positive shift is vital. It proves that narratives can be reclaimed. As consumers of media, we have a responsibility to be critical of the stories we're told and to champion the ones that reflect the truth. That living with a mental health condition is a human experience, not a character flaw. The most powerful antidote to stigma is the truth, and the truth is best told through stories of strength. For every headline that misrepresents mental illness, there are a million untold stories of resilience. Stories of the student who, after battling crippling anxiety, finally sought therapy and went on to graduate with honors. Stories of the new father who recognized the signs of postpartum depression in himself, reached out for support, and became a more present and loving parent. Stories of artists, entrepreneurs, and teachers who channel their experiences with bipolar disorder or PTSD into incredible creativity and empathy. These aren't stories of being cured overnight, they are stories of recovery, which is a journey, not a destination. They are about people who, despite the fear and stigma, found the courage to ask for help and discovered a community of support waiting for them. These stories of hope prove that a diagnosis is not a definition. It is simply one chapter in a much larger, more complex, and often beautiful story of a human life. Our understanding of mental health is also profoundly shaped by our culture. Stigma is not a monolith. It wears different masks in different communities. In some collectivist cultures, there's an intense pressure to uphold family honor, making a personal struggle feel like a source of shame for the entire group. This can lead to a profound reluctance to admit any perceived weakness. In some communities, like the African American community, a well-founded historical distrust of the medical establishment can create barriers to seeking professional help. For others, religious beliefs can be misinterpreted to suggest that mental health struggles are a sign of a moral or spiritual failing rather than a health issue. There is no right or wrong culture, there is only context. By understanding these diverse perspectives, we can approach the conversation with greater empathy. It allows us to meet people where they are, to respect their cultural framework, while gently offering a path to support that aligns with their values. We must invite ourselves to reflect on our own community's perspective and challenge the assumptions that hold us back. If stigma is a chain forged by fear and misinformation, then education is the tool that breaks it. Every time we replace a myth with a fact, we weaken stigma's hold. This is happening in communities around the world. We see it in school curriculums that teach children about emotional well-being from a young age. Normalizing the conversation before shame can even take root. We see it in workplace initiatives like Mental Health First Aid, which train employees to recognize the signs of mental distress in their colleagues and connect them with help, just as they would for a physical injury. We see it in public awareness programs that flood our social media feeds and airwaves with messages of hope and solidarity. The principle is simple: knowledge reduces fear. When we understand the biological and environmental factors that contribute to mental health conditions, the irrational fear of the unknown begins to fade. Education breeds empathy, transforming judgment into compassion. Promoting mental health awareness is one of the most critical social responsibilities of our time. This fight isn't just for governments or big organizations. The power to break the stigma lies with you. Here are 5 simple things you can start today. First, use respectful, stigma-free language. A person is not their diagnosis. Say a person with schizophrenia, not a schizophrenic. Words matter. Person-first language restores humanity. Second, normalize therapy. Talk about mental health like going to the gym or dentist, part of a healthy life. Third, and perhaps most importantly, listen without judgment. You don't need answers, just be a safe space. Let them know they're heard and not alone. Fourth, if it feels right, share your own story. Vulnerability is powerful. Your story could inspire someone to open up. Fifth, support the cause. Volunteer, donate, or amplify voices online. Small actions create big change. Knowing where to turn is key. If you or someone you know is struggling, help is available. National and international hotlines offer 24/7 support. Reputable sites like NAMI, WHO, and Mind offer resources and community. Peer support groups, online and in person, connect you with others who understand. Today, mobile apps offer tools for therapy, meditation, and tracking moods. These are for everyone, those struggling and those who want to support them. We'll make sure these are easy to access. You don't have to do this alone. Imagine a world where no one fears asking for help, where talking about anxiety is as normal as a broken arm, where compassion drowns out judgment and the mind is treated like the body. That's not a dream, it's a future we can build, one conversation at a time. So do 3 things. First, comment below, share a thought, reflection, or your story. It helps us all feel less alone. Second, share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Third, subscribe for more mental health content. That's how we grow a movement. You are not alone. Together, we can break the stigma. The conversation starts now. Let's change it together.